So, after being in Georgia for a little over a month, traveling around to a lot of the different cities, in today's video I'm going to break down my thoughts on the Tbilisi real estate market as far as short-term rentals go, long-term rentals, all these different things, what kind of yields you can expect. And basically what I'll be doing is taking you actually into my computer. We're going to be looking at the map of Tbilisi, just like I did with the video on Batumi on the Black Sea, the different real estate opportunities there, and kind of my analysis of the market, drawing out how I see the city after kind of walking it, touring it, looking at all these different properties. What are the good areas? What are the bad areas? Where is the opportunity in the market? And some things you might not actually expect as far as what are the opportunities here in Georgia. I personally think for real estate, there's a ton of opportunity in international real estate, especially when you combine this space with other things we talk about on this channel like blockchain technology. And so it's a fascinating time, but I'm heading to Armenia, so let's hop right into my computer. All right, let's get right into it with Tbilisi. There's so many interesting places here. Basically, I'm going to break down just my thoughts on the market, like I said in the beginning. Really what you want to understand just as an overall view before we even get too far zoomed in. So essentially, this is the main drag in Tbilisi, right? You have a main river that runs through it. Not a lot of people are going to visit this area. Most people live near this. I really liked kind of three main areas. So I was a big fan of this area near the Nakala Fortress. We're up on this whole ridge. You have basically you have like the mother of Tbilisi, or the mother of Georgia rather. It kind of looks across beautiful. You know, there's a nice gondola that takes you up there. It's a beautiful outlook on the city. So it's obviously a more touristy attraction. Maybe a local would go up there like on a weekend or something like that. But honestly, that's a lot more touristy attraction area. And that's kind of near here, right? So this is also they have the botanical gardens, which is another beautiful thing for tourists to go to, and locals as well. But essentially, this is kind of that the area where I think that's where tourists go. So this is another interesting area where essentially the Reich Park takes you up. So this is where you have that balloon that you see in all those iconic pictures, where it's like this. It's basically it's on a balloon that moves side to side. It doesn't move horizontal, it just moves vertical, right? So this is a incredible view of the city you basically get to see it, but enough of that, right? So those are the things that are just kind of interesting to know as far as if you're visiting Tbilisi, and some things where, hey, maybe you want to have an Airbnb close to these spots. The main kind of area near there is here, right? So this is a main drag of like kind of nice bars and restaurants right in this area. This continues on and kind of in these back streets. So one thing you need to know is right here, this main drag in Tbilisi, it may seem, if you've never been here and you may see some stuff online, that it might be a good spot. This is not a good spot for real estate, to be quite honest with you. This road is insanely busy. The traffic is very, very hectic. I remember I was taking a car and I needed to go fast, so I paid him a little bit extra, and he literally drove up on the sidewalk, started driving on the sidewalk like just to beat him with traffic. I was like, holy crap, I've never seen this before. But this road is pretty crazy. There's a lot of crazy drivers here, so keep that in mind. But as far as the areas, like I said, so I really like Liberty Square, which I can get to here. Yeah, so I actually stayed right here in this building, right here in Liberty Square. I am recording this part, by the way, while I'm in Ukraine. I already stopped in Armenia, but when I recorded the intro to this video, I was right in this building actually. So this is an interesting little park. You have a nice little underground area and then a massive mall here. This whole square is interesting to me, although property values are very, very high. So there are some of these where, again, I kind of like to look for diamonds in the rough as far as real estate goes. I don't want to buy something like, that's why I made that video on Batumi, right? Because the reason that I don't like Batumi is you're buying from developers. So essentially when everything's brand new, everything's shiny, you have a new microwave, all these different things, new appliances, you're basically paying premiums for that, right? And pretty much, this is the other thing that I will say, anything where they speak relatively decent English and you're getting like a property like this and everything's new, you're going to pay that premium, especially if you don't know the right people, if you don't have the right connections. So that's, again, why you can reach out to us at the email down below is in the description. It's contacts@investglobal.io. And somebody from the team will reach out to you. But this whole area is actually really, really cool. So this goes by this massive mall. And this whole drag, you can walk the full thing. Essentially, this is a much nicer street to walk on. You can walk this full thing. The other area that I really, really like, so you have the massive, beautiful public service hall building there. The other area that I really liked, and some of the I met with this local, and he said he wasn't the biggest fan of, but right here, this drag right here. So this is, again, it's not on this main drag, right? There's not a lot of interesting things here. There's not a lot of good property there, right? There's kind of like some hotels here, stayed in one near that area. Again, major busy roads right there. But then you can kind of take this road up and this is a hub spot. Like this is popping. It's very, very busy. You have these beautiful parks along the way. So you have a beautiful park here. You have another one with like some fountains in there, another park right here. And then this interesting kind of like a old Soviet, like almost, I think it's in here, where it's like this interesting like old Soviet like theme park type thing where there's all these rides. And so anyways, that drag, basically I walked it all the way. That's part of what I do whenever I'm in a market is I like to walk the full drag. But it takes you kind of into, when it gets to the very end, it takes you into this area where it's like all these like the masses of like car part shops. And so for me, long-term versus short-term rentals, I would think somebody who is staying here in Tbilisi, I would be much more interested in renting more a high value, like a higher end apartments in Liberty Square. And then for short-term rentals, it's these areas more near here. This Liberty Square area is where I would be looking for long-term rentals. And kind of in this center hub area, because this is where locals go, and it's really nice in the heart of the center of the city. But as a tourist, right, to rent to short-term rentals, not to to rent to short-term renters. Oh my gosh, man, I'm getting tongue twisted. There's a lot of interesting Airbnb opportunities, I think, here and ways you can improve the situation. I would be looking at either this area. So again, if you remember what I was saying, this area kind of you have really, really nice access to this beautiful church right here up on this hill, kind of in this area, and then also you're not too far from this church, which is massive. I can't remember the exact name of it, but that's another beautiful area. You can get to the botanical gardens, because that's what everybody sees in the pictures. This park is incredible. You get beautiful views. You can walk along. You have that bridge. So it's kind of like getting people the best experience on the first day. That's what I would have them set up right there. The other area, if they're more someone who's looking to go out, there's nice bars, like nice street of restaurants where they're very welcoming. They invite you in. You might pay a little bit more, but if you know the right places to go to, you're going to pay what locals pay. And that's really this area that I was talking about. If I can go ahead and find it here, let me see here. Yeah, so this area, kind of along here. Let me see, which I was talking about. That's the other area for short-term rentals. So yeah, right here, this kind of main drag. There's a ton of properties for sale. I actually toured a couple. I have a bunch of pictures that I took of for sale signs, and I met with some. There's actually a hotel for sale. There's a massive estate for sale. In one of these parks, there was like this glass building for sale that was interesting for if you were interested in doing like a greenhouse type thing, because there's a ton of farmers market style things here in Georgia where people are just selling out of the back of their car, which is kind of cool. And then some weekends it's like this massive market, like on this drag that I was showing you. Let me see here. On this drag near Liberty Square. Yeah, so on this drag near Liberty Square, there's this on the left side of the street here. If you're walking, obviously, from this direction, a little bit past the National Museum, right next to this Parliament Hall of Georgia, there's this awesome farmers market actually going on right now. Obviously, if you go there in the wintertime, you're not going to get any farmers markets, but I keep those things in mind, So again, the reason I really liked this area is because this drag of, here's okay. Like this is, there's some malls here and like a massive McDonald's right there, which I'm not the biggest fan of. But then there's some really nice restaurants in this area, nice bars, people hanging out lively. That's what I like to see is like, what are the areas that are lively? What are the areas that is packed? And locals love, expats love, digital nomads love, all these different things. That's where I would want to rent out personally. I did consider purchasing a property here, but for me, it's always this thing of sunk costs. I talk about not just, in this case, I'm talking about real estate and kind of more emerging markets, but I also talk a lot about, crypto and commodities. I really like to be able to get in and out of assets as quickly as possible. And since this market is not really at a low for real estate, it's still very, very cheap. Don't get me wrong. I'm more interested in real estate investing when it's more crisis investing, where you're getting things like dirt cheap. I know that may sound a bit extreme, but since I do this full time, I also run a couple other businesses. But since I'm always actively in the market, like I'm here in Ukraine, I'll be touring properties, I'm meeting with some people, and I try and set up bank accounts wherever I'm at. I look for these opportunities, right? That's all part of the first step in it is really setting up your bank account. And then beyond that, you go into things like meeting with lawyers, meeting with real estate agents, potential business opportunities, setting up a brokerage account. Those are all things that I like to do. Essentially getting a second passport or residency, which if you haven't watched my video on the options for basically 4 different ways you can obtain citizenship in Georgia, essentially get a second passport. 3 of them are residency options where it takes a little bit longer. The other one is kind of this unofficial citizenship by investment program, a really citizenship by acceptance program where you have to know the right people. Be sure to check that out. And if you're curious on anything like that, like I said, just contact us. Contact at investglobal.io. You can also join the Telegram group if you just want to have a discussion on this conversation or kind of on this topic. That's basically all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm curious what you guys think about Georgia. If you haven't visited, definitely visit Tbilisi. Check out Batumi as well. But to me, again, Tbilisi is much more interesting as far as real estate goes. Those are kind of my 3 areas that I'm interested in. I think rental rates, maybe I could do another video on that, but it all depends per the property, right? It's a bit different, like short-term versus short-term versus long-term rentals. But yeah, that's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, again, like, subscribe, button all, invest global, and until next time.